You love building high-performing websites, but you don't love having to chase clients down for content, coding.
I can't believe I would have to make a video like this.
A health guru claimed puffing on cigarettes is linked to longer living, but now he's trying to extinguish the controversy.
You guys hear this on Dr. Mike's podcast?
Dr. Stephen Gundry appeared on the Checkup podcast with Dr. Mike and claimed smoking cigarettes was linked to longer living.
Actually, let me stop you right there. Probably it's because he smoked that he's doing so well.
Dr. Gundry sent a cease and desist letter
demanding Dr. Mike remove an Instagram clip of the interview posted earlier this month.
You're wrong.
But how?
You are wrong.
I thought it's pretty common knowledge that smoking is unhealthy and shortens lifespan, but clearly there's a story here to tell, so let's start with the podcast. Earlier this year, I had a chance to interview Dr. Stephen Gundry, an uber popular cardiothoracic surgeon who became a New York Times best-selling author that makes some pretty controversial nutrition and health claims. I was actually really happy to have him on my show for two reasons. One, every podcast he would go on, first of all, he would get millions of views, but he would make some extreme claim with limited to no scientific backing, and the podcast hosts, instead of challenging it or at least approaching it with skepticism, would do the same thing every time.
It's a secret.
It's a secret.
Okay.
There you go.
Wow.
Wow. My gosh.
No, really?
No way. Wow.
This is interesting.
What?
Second, he knew that I disagreed with some of his theories, and yet he was still open to having a debate on those topics. It's pretty rare these days, given that most people prefer the other kind of interviewer who just oohs and ahs at claims made, especially if it helps their podcast get views. The podcast went pretty much as expected, with one major exception. Several times throughout the interview, Dr. Gundry noted that people who lived longer lives could have done so because they smoked cigarettes. I mean, I pushed back on this pretty heavily throughout the entire interview. It made no sense to me that a cardiothoracic surgeon who has to know how destructive cigarettes are to our health and lifespans would somehow glorify smoking. To be clear, Dr. Gundry himself even stated that he doesn't recommend people to smoke, nor does he smoke himself, so the situation was just really confusing. Anyway, during one section towards the end of the interview, we got into a really heated discussion about that very topic. Our team decided to clip that section and make it into a short. And for fear of being disingenuous, we didn't cut any of the dialogue in that section. We started with smoking, we ended with smoking. In fact, here's that clip. You live longer by consuming a high-grain diet in the Leon Heart study. And you're arguing against those things.
And you live longer if you smoke in some of these areas.
But it's not because if you smoke, it's in spite of smoking.
No, you're wrong.
But how?
You are wrong.
You know smoking is pro-inflammatory.
Nicotinic acid is one of the best mitochondrial.
Dr. Gundry, we have to end this conversation.
The British doctor study
Smoking
showed
is not
that
good. We need to at least end with
British British doctors who smoke have a 30% less incidence of Parkinson's and dementia.
Because they die of 10 other diseases beforehand. Oh man. This is so problematic. Even Dr. Danielle Bellardo, preventive cardiologist, who also joined us on the podcast, was beyond shocked at the statements made. First of all, let's be clear. Smoking is a proven risk factor for cancer and cardiovascular disease and is the leading cause of avoidable disease in most industrialized countries. And this translates very clearly to a shorter lifespan. Even in the British doctor study that Dr. Gundry mentions in the clip, confirmed the association between smoking habits and many severe diseases, including the suspected relationship between smoking and 12 different types of cancer. The authors actually found that men who smoked cigarettes continuously died about 10 years younger than lifelong non-smokers, while stopping at age 60, 50, 40, or 30 years gained about 3, 6, 9, 10 years of life expectancy, respectively. Interestingly, on Parkinson's, Dr. Gundry is somewhat correct. There has been some research, including the study he mentioned, that shows smokers tend to have lower rates of Parkinson's disease, but we don't really know why. Even the researchers who analyzed this study wrote very clearly. The findings of this study support the protective effects of tobacco smoking on Parkinson's disease risk. However, the results do not provide a mechanism by which this effect occurs, so it is premature to assume that there is a direct causative relationship between tobacco use and a reduced risk of Parkinson's disease. Correlation versus causation. Did two things happen simultaneously, or did they cause one another to happen? And even Dr. Robert Clark, who published in the medical journal Neurology on the topic, said, current smoking is the leading cause of premature death and disability worldwide, and any such hazards would greatly exceed any potential benefits of current smoking on the risk of Parkinson's disease. But Dr. Gundry did also mention a protective effect for dementia, so let's look at Alzheimer's and dementia. I actually wonder if the Alzheimer's Society in the UK answered this question before. Oh yes, they have.
Yes, science!
Okay, maybe that's only one source. Let's ask the folks at Alzheimer's Research UK. They write, a recent review of 37 research studies found that compared to never smokers, current smokers were 40% more likely to develop Alzheimer's disease. It's pretty clear that smoking doesn't help and really can increase the risk of Alzheimer's. But what about dementia? Well, a 2019 Lancet commission that was actually focused on dementia prevention ended up ranking smoking as third among 9 modifiable risk factors for developing dementia. Look, all this is to say smoking is not healthy, and it's actually cut millions of lives short. It should not be glamorized, and any potential associations with benefit cannot be used as a rationale for smoking. At best, it could be used for studying mechanisms of disease and improving the search for new treatments. Clearly, Dr. Gundry does not agree with me, but he also may not want you to know that, given that after I posted that clip on Instagram, his team immediately sent us a cease and desist to take down that clip. They said something along the lines of, we made it look like he recommends smoking. Let's be clear. Dr. Gundry doesn't recommend smoking, but it's fairly clear he believes some live long lives because they smoke. I hope the information I just provided made it clear that's not true. What a mess. I hope the takeaway from a situation like this for all doctors, especially those on social media, is that it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to misspeak, but it's not okay to double down on misinformation, and certainly not to use the legal system to silence those who are only interested in the accuracy of the information. Despite all this, my battle against misinformation lives on. So click here to check out a YouTube channel that's spreading misinformation about weight loss. As always, stay happy and healthy. Violent gang murders, a devastating plane crash, and a shocking number of drug overdoses that always seem to happen at the age of 27? You know their songs, you know their albums, but do you know how our most treasured musicians and pop stars died? Let's start with Michael Jackson, who in 2009 was killed by his personal physician in an extremely reckless attempt to treat Michael's insomnia. He accidentally administered him an improperly balanced cocktail of medications, including the anesthetic and sedative propofol, that caused him a cardiac arrest. His doctor was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter, and the death was unnecessary and heartbreaking to millions. It's actually a key reason why I say rich people, despite all their money, often receive some of the worst healthcare. Buying your way into good health with expensive scans, medications, and specialty tests can unexpectedly backfire, just like it did for MJ. Liam Payne was a member of the British boy band One Direction. He died in 2024 in a tragic accident in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Allegedly, Liam returned to his hotel behaving erratically and violently. He was held back to his room and the police were called. By the time they arrived, forensic reports indicate Liam had passed out on the balcony of his third-floor hotel room and tumbled 45 feet to the courtyard below. The fall ended his life, and an autopsy revealed he had traces of alcohol, cocaine, and antidepressants in his system. This combo can easily lead to disorientation, poor coordination, and even syncope. While the fall had been ruled accidental, 2 men are still facing charges for having sold Liam the drugs. Norma Jean Mortensen became the first American sex symbol after a massive career as a movie star in the 1950s, but you probably know her better by her stage name, Marilyn Monroe. She not only recorded popular songs like A Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend and starred in classic films like Some Like It Hot. Unfortunately, she likely suffered from serious mental health problems and substance abuse. At just 36 years old, she was found dead inside her Los Angeles home after an overdose of barbiturates. It's a type of insomnia medication that we no longer use for that purpose. It was thought that this tragedy was potentially self-inflicted, but conspiracy theorists will tell you that she was actually killed by President Kennedy and his brother Robert, who were entwined in some salacious love triangle and wanted her silenced. Still waiting on good evidence for that one. Another conspiracy, how about the death of Elvis Presley? The first American rock star and arguably the most iconic musician since Beethoven, Mozart. He's one of the big guys for sure. After growing up poor in rural Mississippi and drawing great inspiration from gospel music, R&B, and country, he went on to record multiple platinum-selling records, star in box office hits, and perform in an extravagant Las Vegas residency. He was also an early health influencer, getting a polio vaccine before his appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show to encourage Americans to get vaccinated against the disease. Unfortunately, his healthy behaviors ended there. Elvis became nocturnal, a prescription drug abuser, and a potential food addict. Get this, he once flew his private jet across the country to Denver, Colorado, just to eat the Fool's Gold Loaf sandwich, a deep-fried peanut butter and jelly and bacon monstrosity that came in somewhere around 8,000 calories. It was this extreme lifestyle that ultimately did him in. Elvis died on the bathroom floor of his Graceland mansion of a myocardial infarction or a heart attack in 1977, likely contributed to by his heavy prescription drug abuse. Or he got on an alien spaceship and flew to another planet. Pick whichever internet chat room rumor you prefer. Amy Winehouse was a British musical icon who became a mainstream success in 2006 because of her album Back to Black, which contained the hit song Rehab. Unfortunately, the lyrics of "They tried to make me go to rehab" were tragically ironic, as Amy suffered from substance abuse and related conditions throughout most of her adult life. In 2011, she was found dead in her London home from excessive alcohol consumption. She is a member of the heartbreaking 27 Club, a group of pop culture icons that all died at the age of 27. In one of her final projects, she actually collaborated on an album with Tony Bennett, the suave and cool crooner whose career spanned 70 years. He continued to perform well into his 90s until he was finally taken by Alzheimer's disease, a condition that slowly kills brain cells and makes the brain shrink. Interestingly, with the lifestyle research we have now, we believe about 40% of cases could be prevented. And while his voice may have been legendary, it was not as good as Whitney Houston's, who Tony Bennett said had the greatest voice of all time. She was a Grammy-winning musical artist and also had a successful run as an actress, starring in the 1992 movie The Bodyguard alongside Kevin Costner, where she famously sang "I Will Always Love You." Her marriage to musician Bobby Brown was tumultuous, and she also struggled with substance abuse that negatively impacted her incredible voice. In 2012, Whitney Houston was found dead in her bathtub with an autopsy revealing accidental drowning with contributing factors, heart disease, and cocaine intoxication. Tupac Shakur was a key figure in the establishment of America's 1990s gangsta rap movement. His activist message in music and film shined through, speaking truth to power about corrupt policing practices and America's prison industrial complex. On the night of September 7th, 1996, Tupac was in Las Vegas leaving the arena after watching a Tyson fight. Tupac was then hit in the chest 4 times in a drive-by shooting by a hidden assailant who sped off. Tupac died 6 days later. The case ran cold for nearly 30 years until 2023, when Dwayne Davis was arrested and charged as the ringleader of the group that carried out the murder. Unfortunately, this was just one of the many high-profile gang-related killings in the 1990s, followed by that of Biggie Smalls, or Notorious B.I.G., legally known as Christopher Wallace. He was another pioneer of the 90s gangsta rap movement, reviving the East Coast rap scene in my old stomping grounds of Brooklyn. He actually dropped out of high school to sell drugs, but he was also bursting with natural talent, earning him a Grammy nomination and opportunities to collab with Michael Jackson. It was highly suspected that this East Coast rap revival ultimately led to his death, as Tupac was a West Coast rapper and Biggie was from the East. He was just 24 years old and his murder remains unsolved. Frank Sinatra was a defining singer and songwriter of the 20th century who also dazzled audiences with his performance on stage and on the silver screen. His cultural impact was tremendous, from winning Oscars to performing with Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. as the Rat Pack to helping JFK win the presidential election by serving as a liaison between the administration and the Italian mob? Allegedly. He died at the age of 82 from a heart attack, likely contributed to by a lifetime of alcohol and tobacco use. Remember that we have clear proof that alcohol, especially when consumed in large amounts, is cardiotoxic. John Lennon was the iconic Beatle who helped ignite the British invasion of rock music in the 1960s. He co-wrote legendary songs like A Hard Day's Night and Imagine that have been inescapable in pop music. His death sent shockwaves around the world when it was announced on Monday Night Football on December 8, 1980.
John Lennon, outside of his apartment building on the west side of New York City, the most famous perhaps of all of the Beatles, shot twice in the back, rushed to Roosevelt Hospital, dead on arrival.
A crazed fan seeking fame named Mark David Chapman sat waiting for the legendary Beatle to emerge from the Dakota, his famous apartment building on the Upper West Side of New York. When he did, Chapman shot him in the back and shoulder. As Lennon's body lay bleeding on the New York sidewalk, the doorman turned to Chapman and said, "Do you know what you just did?" He excitedly replied, "I just shot John Lennon." Creepy. As Howard Cosell said on Monday Night Football, John was quickly transported to a nearby hospital where he was declared dead on arrival. John Lennon is not the only Beatle that we lost, though. George Harrison, who is responsible for songs like While My Guitar Gently Weeps and Here Comes the Sun. In 1999, he was attacked in his own home by an intruder and received multiple stab wounds. But he survived with a collapsed lung. It would have taken an even more aggressive killer to take down George Harrison. Unfortunately, that would wind up being oral cancer, likely caused by a lifetime of heavy smoking. The Beatles weren't the only British rock band to dominate the airwaves, though, paving the way for Freddie Mercury of the band Queen, who pioneered an original sound of operatic rock music amidst a decade of disco. He was not only one of the most dynamic musical performers of all time, but a queer icon. Known for his sexually fluid lifestyle, unfortunately, the sexual freedom of that era likely led him to contracting and dying from complications related to AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. AIDS is caused by HIV, a sexually transmitted infection, and damages a person's immune system, making them highly susceptible to other diseases and complications. Today, pharma breakthroughs have created antiviral treatments that protect HIV patients from developing AIDS, allowing for an almost identical lifespan to those without the condition, given an early diagnosis. Prince's rise to fame came in 1983 when his first crossover hit, Little Red Corvette, had a music video air on MTV, garnering him a massive audience, making him one of the first black musicians to air on the network. His album, Purple Rain, won an Academy Award, and he's also known for having delivered perhaps the most legendary Super Bowl halftime show ever in 2007 in Miami in the rain. He was the definition of cool. He was an electric performer, but decades of leaving it all on the stage took a toll on his body, leaving him in a lot of pain, which led him to use prescription pain medication. 2016, he was at his home in Minnesota when he collapsed inside of an elevator after taking what he thought was prescription Vicodin, an opioid pain reliever, but was instead a counterfeit medication laced with deadly amounts of fentanyl, which is 50 to 100 times more potent. He didn't even know what he was taking. David Bowie was a prolific British rock star who released 26 albums in just 50 years. This guy worked. His hits Young Americans and Heroes are only a couple of the dozens of his songs that dominated the charts in the 70s and 80s. In 2004, he survived a heart attack while on stage and retreated from public life for about a decade. He never stopped making music though, producing work until 2016 when he died of liver cancer, a condition he kept so secret that many of his bandmates didn't even realize he was terminally ill. George Michael was a British pop star who blew up thanks to MTV with this massive hit, Wake Me Up Before You Go-Go by his band Wham, which went on to become the first Western pop band to tour China. In 1998, he was arrested for disorderly conduct when an undercover police officer observed him performing a lewd act in a public restroom in Beverly Hills. You can read the details on your own if you'd like, but the incident forced George Michael to come out of the closet on CNN and establish himself as one of the most prominent gay figures in media. Unfortunately, his popularity waned over the next 15 years or so, and his drug use increased. He died on Christmas Day in 2016 from dilated cardiomyopathy with myocarditis and fatty liver. Kurt Cobain was the singer and leader of the 90s alt-rock band Nirvana. By all accounts, he had a happy childhood until his parents divorced, which sent him spiraling and changed his outlook on the world. He funneled this point of view into the music for his band Nirvana, which released a debut album called Nevermind, and whose single, Smells Like Teen Spirit, became a defining song of the 90s and the alt-rock genre. He married singer Courtney Love and the two had a child, but unfortunately things for Kurt weren't going well. He claimed to suffer for years from stomach pain, which led to depressive symptoms, which he medicated with heroin and painkillers. He actually overdosed on champagne and Rohypnol, which is 7 times more potent than Valium, while he was in Rome and was sent to a rehab facility in Southern California. He escaped, fled north to his home in Washington State, where his life ended at just 27 years old. Marvin Gaye was a soul musician known as the Prince of Motown, and while his music may have been romantic and rich, his death was truly heartbreaking. In 1984, he had enjoyed enormous industry success, but also racked up debt due to his cocaine addiction. The 44-year-old singer moved in with his parents in an attempt to get on his feet. Unfortunately, his relationship with his abusive father had reached a breaking point. The two started an argument that led to a physical altercation in the house. In Marvin's growing cocaine-induced paranoia, he had actually given his father a revolver to protect the family. This would lead to his death. Marvin Gaye was shot and killed by his own father with that very gun. The LA County Coroner's Office officially stated that he suffered a gunshot wound to his chest, perforating his heart, lung, and liver. His father pleaded no contest to voluntary manslaughter and received a sentence of probation, with the judge ruling Marvin had provoked the attack and any prison time could be a death sentence for the frail old man. According to Marvin's brother, who cradled him in his arms during his final moments, his last words were, "I got what I wanted. I couldn't do it myself, so I made him do it." Johnny Cash was a country music singer whose late-in-life medical issues were pretty interesting. In 1997, at the age of 65, he announced that he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, a neurologic condition that affects movement. But this was wrong. Further testing revealed he actually had multiple systems atrophy, another neurologic disease, but this was wrong too. In 2000, he announced that he's been misdiagnosed yet again, and actually he had autonomic neuropathy, a nerve condition that's actually caused by diabetes. It was complications from the disease that led to respiratory failure that eventually took his life in 2003. But talk about malpractice. Mac Miller was a rapper in the 2010s whose debut album, Blue Slide Park, became the first independently distributed debut album to reach the top of the Billboard album chart in 16 years. He was a rising star in entertainment until his death at just 26 years old, where he accidentally overdosed on alcohol, fentanyl, and cocaine. Earl DMX Simmons was a rapper known for huge hits like Party Up and X Gon' Give It To Ya, which were definitely hit songs in my high school in Staten Island. In 2021, just at 50 years old, DMX had a cocaine-induced heart attack in his home, went into cardiac arrest, and reportedly went 30 minutes without receiving oxygen to his brain. I'm not saying chest compressions would have saved his life, but in this scenario, is exactly the scenario I say you should do them. 2 inches deep, 100 beats per minute to circulate any remaining oxygen in the blood to the rest of his body, after calling for help, of course. He was transported to a hospital where he was left in a vegetative state for several days until he died. Jeff Buckley was a folk rock artist who had a bright musical future ahead of him until a tragic day in 1997 outside of Memphis, Tennessee. Singing along to Led Zeppelin on a nearby radio, Jeff ran fully clothed into a tributary alongside the Mississippi River for a fun swim. A passing speedboat sent a powerful wake his way and he disappeared. 6 days later, a passenger in a riverboat spotted his body amongst the branches in a nearby harbor. The death was ruled an accidental drowning and he was just 30 years old. Bob Marley was the trailblazing pioneer of reggae music from Jamaica, defining a sound that to this day is synonymous with his part of the world. In the 1970s, he became the face of Jamaican culture in contrast to its political chaos, which led to his assassination attempt. Late one night, a violent trio ambushed Marley's home, littered his house with bullets. The men emptied their clips and sped off. Bob survived with only minor wounds and days later went on to play in front of tens of thousands at the Smile Jamaica Festival in a call for peace. He lived a few more years until he noticed a small black spot just under his toenail, which he thought might just be an old soccer injury. Unfortunately, it was actually acral litiginous melanoma, a rare form of skin cancer. Doctors suggested he get his toe removed to prevent the spread of this cancer, but Bob Marley refused, opting for a less invasive surgery. Unfortunately, the cancer did spread to his body and he died in 1981 at just 36 years old. Aretha Franklin defined the golden age of soul music in the US and was the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She died of pancreatic cancer in 2018 at the age of 76. It's a condition known for its depressingly low 5-year survival, and one we were hoping to develop a vaccine to prevent until RFK Jr. defunded that research last year. Jimi Hendrix was an explosive musical talent of the 1960s in the US and UK, impressing audiences with his stage persona and remarkable ability to improvise electric guitar solos in front of thousands. He was really only scratching the surface of his career when he lost his life at just 27 years old after aspirating his own vomit after overdosing on sleeping pills. Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and JP the Big Bopper Richardson unfortunately all belong on the same entry because the three of them died together. In 1959, the three musicians and their bands were touring the Midwest. Their tour bus had no heat, making the long drives between Midwestern cities brutally cold in that winter snow. Buddy Holly was fed up with the conditions and chartered a small private plane for him, Ritchie, and the Big Bopper to use on their way to their next gig. The plane took off and immediately was taken over by high winds and snow. The pilot tried his best to control the airplane, but the weather was just too strong. The four men crashed and died in a cornfield just 5 miles from the airport. The event was so culturally traumatic that musician Don McLean wrote his famous song, American Pie, all about it, calling it the day the music died. Tina Turner was known as the Queen of Rock and Roll and dominated music for 60 years until her passing at 83 after a battle with a long illness. Likely some sort of combination of the following. First, she was diagnosed with hypertension in 1978 and left it untreated. This contributed to the eventual stroke she suffered in 2013. Shortly after, she was diagnosed with intestinal cancer. Her treatments weren't going well, so she unfortunately turned to dangerous homeopathic treatments, which made things significantly worse and resulted in advanced kidney failure. She actually wrote in her memoir, "The consequences of my ignorance ended up being a matter of life and death." Janis Joplin was a powerhouse singer whose death signaled the end of the 60s for many Americans. She was another member of the 27 Club, dying of a heroin overdose in her guest room at the Landmark Hotel in Los Angeles. To this day, fans book the very room she died in and write heartfelt messages to her in the closet. Jim Morrison was the lead singer of The Doors. He called himself the Lizard King and became a rebellious icon for American youth in the 1960s. He is the last member of the 27 Club on our list, dying in a bathtub in a Paris hotel room, or so it would seem. His death was officially ruled as being caused by heart failure, but an autopsy wasn't performed as it wasn't required by law in France in 1971. It's rumored that Jim had actually died of a heroin overdose in the bathroom of a nightclub the evening before, and the drug dealers responsible carried him back to his hotel and stuffed him in the bathtub to cover their tracks. Ray Charles was nicknamed the Genius and wrote American classics like Georgia on My Mind and Hit the Road Jack. He was born with sight but developed juvenile glaucoma that took his vision by the time he was 7 years old. While he may not have been able to see the keys on the piano, he could feel the music, eventually pulling in 12 Grammys and 5 more after he died. As he aged, he suffered from hip pain and eventually received a hip transplant, which he'd hope would allow him to continue touring. Unfortunately, during this process, doctors also discovered he had extensive liver disease, which took his life when he was 73. Click here to see me react to musicians getting injured while performing on stage. Even Lady Gaga's in the video. And also, while it's fascinating to see how these pop stars passed away, it's definitely tragic to see how many battled substance abuse. If you or anyone you know is struggling, you can find resources in the description below. And as always, stay happy and healthy. What's worse, a nurse who is also a secret serial killer, or the hospital that tries to cover it all up? This is the twisted, murderous story of Charles Cullen, New Jersey's own angel of death, and the hospitals that thought nobody would notice. Charles Cullen was born and raised in northern New Jersey, and right off the bat, things didn't go well for him. As a young child, he lost his father, and then his mother before he was even out of high school. These traumas left deep psychological scars that only worsened because of bullying and isolation. Charles knew he needed structure in his life, so he enlisted in the Navy and spent years living under the ocean in a nuclear submarine. Unfortunately, the bullying did not stop. You see, Charles was different. He was weird. He was depressed, socially awkward, and increasingly turned to alcohol, which only worsened his behavior in isolation. One time in the Navy, he went ashore and drank so much that he passed out under the hot sun barefoot. When he woke up hours later, his feet were burnt to a crisp. His superior showed him no sympathy either, forcing him to work in a pair of shoes too small for his feet and only giving him mild painkillers. Charles was a laughingstock. Ultimately, he didn't fit in well with his bosses, who were always looking over his shoulder. He needed a job with less oversight, like a night nurse in the ICU. So, Charles was discharged from the Navy and decided to enroll in nursing school. Despite his bizarre personality, he maintained steady work, got married, even had 2 children. And while on the surface, things appeared normal, behind closed doors at the hospital, Charles was killing people left and right. His murders weren't all exactly the same, but they usually followed a pattern. He often worked night shifts in the intensive care unit treating burn victims and other seriously ill patients when they were short-staffed and no visitors were present. To begin, he would identify a victim, a 72-year-old judge, a 21-year-old college student. Here, Charles did not discriminate and often killed randomly. So just by being his patient, your life was instantly in danger. Then Charles would head to the Pyxis machine, a computerized drug dispenser, to get a dose of a drug called digoxin. In normal doses, it can help control the rhythm of the heart. In an overdose, it can trigger lethal heart arrhythmias. It was also a drug that was not routinely tested for in autopsies, meaning that there was a good chance nobody would even notice it in a patient's system. Then, while patients slept in their beds and other night shift nurses were out of the room, Charles would either inject the medication into a patient directly or tamper with their IV saline bag. He murdered patients like this over a career that spanned 15+ years. But why did it take so long for him to get caught? This is where things get really dark. Because so many of Charles's victims were already in the ICU, their deaths weren't often very suspicious. They were on the brink of death anyway, so nobody suspected any foul play. Also, Charles was clever in how he got hold of the digoxin. He took advantage of the flawed Pyxis machines, entering the code for Tylenol that happened to share the same drawer. Or he would enter the code for digoxin, cancel the order immediately, and the drawer would open anyway. These workarounds created a confusing paper trail. Lots of canceled orders and odd Pyxis activity, but little direct proof that he'd actually given the drug to patients. But more importantly, while it did take over a decade to put Charles behind bars, that's not because he never got caught. In fact, he got caught over and over again. He just didn't get punished. On numerous occasions, a hospital where Charles worked would find the circumstances of a patient's death unusual, and they would begin a quiet sort of inquiry. Charles was repeatedly implicated in these investigations, but his bosses could never quite prove it. So what did the hospitals do? Well, they could call the police, begin a proper criminal investigation, and open themselves to a liability and PR nightmare? They'd hired a serial killer to care for patients? Not exactly a ringing endorsement to visit for your next checkup. So these hospitals did what now seems unthinkable. They made Charles a deal. If he resigned, they'd end their investigation and give him neutral references. This left Charles without a job, but with an active nursing license and a spotless record. He ultimately worked at about 10 hospitals, leaving a trail of death behind him as he kept getting more and more work. One time, Charles even received a phone call offering him a nursing position while he himself was being held in a psychiatric facility while having a mental breakdown. There was a nursing shortage. Charles happily worked grueling ICU night shifts, and it wouldn't be right to deny him a job for simply seeking mental health support, would it? So Charles kept working and kept killing. Up and down the New Jersey Turnpike he went, injecting recovering patients with digoxin or insulin at whichever hospital would give him a look, until it all came to an end at Somerset Medical Center. A cluster of patients started dying with bizarre lab results, including unexplained spikes in insulin and digoxin, and that finally got someone's attention. An internal investigation went underway, and after 3 months, during which time Charles killed 5 more people, the authorities were finally called. With a mountain of circumstantial evidence before them, detectives picked up the phone and called around the state, learning that similar deaths had occurred at other hospitals where Charles had worked. He had a police record too, having been arrested years before for stalking a former co-worker and breaking into her house. The detectives could tell Charles was their man, but they couldn't quite prove it. There were no eyewitnesses, no late-night security camera footage. The hospitals that swept Charles's murderers under the rug were panicking about legal ramifications, so they stonewalled detectives and rarely gave up legit evidence. Somerset Medical Center, the scene of the crime, made it particularly hard to investigate the case. They barred their staff from speaking to police unless their lawyer was present. They told police the Pyxis machines only kept records for 30 days. It was only after detectives called the manufacturer that they learned this wasn't even true. Somerset either didn't know how the machines worked, or they flat out lied. There was only one option. They needed a confession. Detectives enlisted Nurse Amy, a co-worker of Charles, to help bring him in. At first, Amy laughed off the idea that Charles was a murderer. He was a great nurse. He took shifts nobody else wanted and was one of her closest friends. Impossible, she said. Then they walked her through the entire story, showing her all the evidence they'd gathered so far. This made her nervous, so she contacted an old friend of hers that had worked with Charles years before. She corroborated the story, saying he was a creep and that she was surprised to learn that he was still nursing. Amy thought back on previous patients who had died. They were recovering, then Charles took over, and they died. My God, they were right. Charles was a murderer and it was up to her to bring him down. If Somerset found out she was secretly working with detectives, Amy believed she could lose her job and her health insurance, but she did it anyway. So Amy invited Charles out to lunch at a diner. Her heart was pounding through her chest as they sat down. Charles was all smiles. A lunchtime cheeseburger with his friend Amy? What could be better? The conversation started casually, friendly as always. Then she started to probe. All those patients who had died, what happened? Was someone responsible? Was it possible that Charles was capable of killing those people? Charles's friendly smile vanished. He stared at her with his cold, dead eyes. He tried to change the subject, but Amy kept pressuring. With tremendous pressure building up inside of him, he admitted it was possible he was capable of such a thing, and that was all the police needed to hear, who had been secretly listening through a wire Amy wore under her shirt. Charles stormed out of the restaurant, got in his car, and sped off. Amy had just stared into the eyes of a madman and brought him to justice. Police pulled Charles over and brought him in for questioning. What followed was a brutal 7-hour interrogation where he confessed to killing almost 40 people. Many suspect the actual number could be in the hundreds. But why did he do it? What could motivate someone to kill so many innocent people? Charles claimed that he wanted to end the suffering of his terminally ill patients. Unfortunately, this didn't add up, as not all of Charles's victims were terminally ill, and his actions caused many of them to suffer violent, painful deaths for days on end. He was not a righteous mercy killer. His true motives may never be known, or simply might not even exist. Dozens of civil suits were filed against several of the hospitals where Cullen had worked, accusing them of negligent hiring, supervision, and failing to warn. Many of those cases were resolved through confidential settlements rather than full-on public trials. Charles is still alive, serving 18 consecutive life sentences at a state prison in New Jersey. But here's an ironic twist. After Charles was locked behind bars, he was contacted by a distant friend of a relative who was in desperate need of a kidney donation. Oddly enough, he was a perfect match. Charles Cullen, the angel of death, donated his kidney and helped save the young man's life. How about doctors who got caught on camera behaving very badly? Not to that degree, but click here to check. Today we're gonna watch some doctors who were caught on camera behaving very badly. Let's get started.
Sit up.
Dude,
Sit up. Sit up. I'm having you sit up.
I can't get up.
This morning, this emergency room doctor banned from working in this Northern California hospital.
Los Gatos.
If I could get up off this chair, I really would. But
Yeah,
I
you
can't.
really should, because this is ridiculous.
I can't, and you're not going to keep tugging.
I don't understand what this doctor is frustrated with. Everyone can have a bad day, but when you're taking it out on someone who's ill, that's like the worst form of it.
I just tried to inhale, and I even told her I could not inhale.
He can't inhale. Wow. He must be dead. Are you dead, sir? I don't understand. You are breathing just fine.
What the doctor is doing is totally unprofessional. It's not necessarily medically wrong, because he's clearly breathing fine in terms of whether or not he's stable. But when you're mocking someone and they're telling you they're having difficulty inhaling, you need to be able to function professionally here.
They gave him fluids and they gave him something, a pill. I don't know what they gave him. Yeah.
For what?
For his pain and for the anxiety.
So you need narcotics? Is that what you need?
Here we go.
The one thing that is important for patients to know, when you come in and you say, I need pain medication anxiety, not all doctors are gonna be receptive to this. Can you imagine if a patient comes in and says, I need pain medication anxiety medication when they're experiencing something like collapsing during a basketball game, and I say, oh, okay, I wanna make sure I do the right thing that you ask, and I give it to them, and they were having a heart attack the whole time that was never ruled out, and then they end up dying. That's totally my fault. So there's a layer of, this isn't a gas station or a 7-Eleven where you can just go in and order what you'd like. But at the same time, the doctor should be receptive if the patient's explaining what worked well in the past, what does this feel similar to, and then rule things out.
In my mind, I don't think she should be practicing medicine at all, because if it's not a race thing and she treats everybody that way, then that's a problem.
It's very difficult to know whether or not this is a race thing from the limited footage. Obviously, I don't blame the patients for saying that given the circumstances, but you know, doctors can be fined, doctors can be suspended, they can lose their license for a period of time, they can do work to regain their ability to practice. Just stripping someone of their license every time they do something wrong is not good, because then doctors don't feel protected. And sometimes that can come at the cost of them practicing well and also at the cost of their mental health. It shouldn't be something that should be taken away off of a single incident. Repeated incidents that are not improving with reprimands and suspensions, etc., obviously, yes.
Listen closely.
Round and round they go, wheel of annoying patients it goes. Where to land, nobody knows.
Okay, that doesn't tell me much. We're burnt out as a health provider group. Sometimes we need to unwind, and sometimes we do that through humor and dark humor. It should never be at the expense of a patient, making someone feel bad.
Her patient used his phone to record post-op instructions, but he says he did not press stop before he went under.
Really, after 5 minutes of talking to you in pre-op, I wanted to punch you in the face and man you up a little bit.
Putting his IV in, he's like, I always pass out when I look at them. Great.
Well, why are you looking then, retard?
The patient filing a lawsuit anonymously. He's identified only as DB in court documents, claiming medical malpractice, in part because of this false diagnosis.
I'm gonna mark hemorrhoids, even though we don't see them and probably won't.
Why would you say that? That's not even funny. Like, they're saying someone's annoying, and then they're saying that you're gonna make up a diagnosis for them. That's so strange.
Jessica Stipe was suffering from a severe case of the flu and waited 1 hour and 15 minutes as her symptoms grew worse.
We've done a urine test on you. I've seen you.
You came in and said, I'm gonna check your pee.
Does that take 3 seconds, you think?
I don't know how long.
Do you want to be seen or not?
I want to go home and get in my bed.
Then fine, get the hell out.
In situations like this, patient says, it's so long I want to leave. I don't recommend you leave. I think we should finish the exam. We'll do our best to do it in a timely manner, but if you'd like to leave, please, you're more than welcome to do it. It's your choice. The more offense you take, the more that the patient can grow even angrier and do something dangerous or problematic, break something, punch something, assault another patient. It's like you're just creating more problems.
I will file a complaint with a Better Business.
Mom, I got it on video, so it doesn't matter.
Go.
And my
What's your
daughter's
daughter?
recording this. My
What's your
daughter is
name?
recording all this.
The doctor grabs the phone right out of the daughter's hand.
Oh my God.
Give me my phone.
I was almost like starting to get to the point where I was like, why is the patient recording this? Why are they talking about this on Inside Edition? And then the guy grabs the phone like, okay, come on.
Dr. Peter Gallagly says the patient was belligerent and abusive to the office staff. Still, he apologized, saying in a statement, "I regret losing my temper and speaking to the two women in a manner that is not befitting a medical doctor."
Good apology. I have experienced patients being really rude to my staff, but I don't step in to say, I'm gonna yell and now take control of this. That actually is not taking control. Taking control of the situation means asking the staff member to go into the back, into safety, putting myself on the front lines to allow the patient to yell at me, while I am a soundboard explaining to the patient that they're free to leave. If not, we can give them care, but you do not intervene unless like someone's actually getting physically abused or something.
TikTok plastic surgeon, yes, that's apparently a thing.
Yeah, I hate that that's what it's called. YouTube doctor seems like I'm only a doctor on YouTube. I continuously work 2 to 3 days a week, every week, not really taking time off at all since I graduated residency 7 years ago, which means I've been practicing as a doctor for 10 years now.
So this is Dr. Roxy, seen here doing lots and lots of TikTok dances.
Nothing wrong with dances on their own.
He was accused of injuring her patients while she was live streaming her surgeries to TikTok.
That's a big risk of live streaming surgeries. Not only do you have to make sure all your paperwork's done correctly, that the patient understands what they're going to experience, meaning that people will see their procedure, their insides, etc. But also that you're not recording yourself making mistakes. There is no more damaging evidence than you recording your own mistake.
Now, allegedly, she would get permission from her patients before she did this stuff, but the Ohio State Medical Board apparently warned her that it is wrong to live stream your surgeries.
The Board of Medicine is telling you you can't do something. Don't test it. That's just like you're gonna lose. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
One patient suffered a perforated small bowel and a soft tissue infection after Dr. Roxy was looking into the camera while performing liposuction.
So when you're performing liposuction, I've seen various videos and social media content and even doctors in my hospital who perform it, they have to make this motion. And when you're doing this motion, if you're looking away and not looking at the surgical field, you can make a mistake.
So I guess she would be doing liposuction. While reading and responding to comments on the live stream.
I'm worried about responding and reading comments on social media, period. And she's just like, I'm gonna do it while I perform a surgery. Like, that's the one time you don't want to be distracted.
For the second time in 3 years, former Dr. George Blotti found himself in handcuffs, this time charged with 5 murders, all linked, Nassau's DA says, to the excessive painkiller prescriptions written by the 75-year-old.
There's many doctors that function in what we call like a pill mill, where they essentially get money to prescribe huge doses of medications, usually controlled substance medications. Then that's very dangerous because it fuels the addiction crisis. It fuels the secondary black market where they sell these drugs on the streets. Obviously, a lot of money is made, but also a lot of people are suffering as a result.
His alleged victims, 3 men and 2 women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. They were prescribed a total of 45,000 pills over a 4-year period.
Right now in New Jersey where I work, I receive a report every month of how many of these controlled substances I'm prescribing, how does it compare to fellow doctors in my specialty, in my region. That's pretty interesting. There are some patients that are coming in today and saying they're in pain when just yesterday they got a 30-day prescription of opioids, and I already know that's a big red flag. And we actually have pain contracts with patients that we sign, or controlled substance contracts, where they say that they're not gonna doctor shop, meaning go to multiple doctors to get the same medication. They're gonna be responsible and use one pharmacy to the best of their ability. And when you have that contract in place, you have really good communication and very clear communication with your patient.
Elizabeth Vettlaufer, a registered nurse who's known to have worked in both public facilities and private homes, was brought in for questioning after a series of deaths of elderly patients in her care.
Was this the first person that you did this to?
Well, there were other people that did it too that didn't die.
Prior to James?
What did she do to try and make them die?
So, was this your first attempt at overdosing these people on insulin?
Yes.
If you give someone too much insulin, what happens is it radically lowers the blood sugar of a patient, so much so that they can become hypoglycemic, and that could be lethal.
And I didn't really want her to die. I don't know, I was just angry and had this sense inside me that she may be a person that God wanted back with him.
This is some kind of religious thing, it sounds like.
Is that the point, and I hate to get off topic here, but the point where you had these feelings in your stomach and almost that laughter after it happened, is that the part that you didn't tell Dr. Khan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Elizabeth was sentenced to 8 concurrent life terms in prison with no possibility of parole for 25 years.
That sounds like an appropriate charge given the severity of the cases. We've actually seen this happen with nurses locally in New Jersey. There was a case where there was a nurse giving heart arrhythmia medication to a fatal dose in patients without them knowing. If you want me to do like a medical investigation series on some of the worst crimes in healthcare, leave a comment down below.
Malachi, they say you've been practicing medicine without a license?
To when Malachi...
Wait, how do you practice medicine without a license?
You have to know what...
Oh, this is the guy?
This self-proclaimed doctor is only 18 years old. The police report says he was walking around the halls in a doctor's coat. Witnesses reporting he'd been roaming the hospital halls for a month.
Roaming the hospital and practicing as a doctor is two very different things. If he's not making decisions for patients, he's not giving them medications, he's not performing procedures, he's just impersonating, I guess, to some degree.
But police snapped this picture of the lab coat in his car. On one lapel, the title anesthesiologist. On the other, his name. The hospital did not press charges, claiming in a statement the individual never had contact with any hospital patient.
But that's so ridiculous. Why is he walking around with, like, what is he, Halloween?
It was in early January that Malachi held a grand opening for this medical clinic.
What? No way, that's not real.
This is the New Birthing Life Medical Center.
What? There's something, he opened them, who's funding this?
And when you peel back the tape, the sign on the door has his name and those 2 crucial letters.
Oh my God, I can't believe, how is he not in jail?
Your training comprises of a lot of things.
Yeah, but you weren't in med school.
So I am not portraying as an MD.
This is like why YouTube started their little logo. As you can see below this video, it says that I'm a real doctor with a real medical license. And sometimes that's funny, like when I'm playing a game and it says, hey, this is a real doctor, and I'm playing a game or I'm making a video with Bear. We need something like this in real life for this gentleman.
Ask his business partner, Percy
Yes, a business partner!
He claims to have invested $10,000 in the clinic.
I feel like I shouldn't judge until I know. When the gavel hits and the jury decides that...
You need the gavel to hit? My guy, ask him if he's went to school.
An 86-year-old woman. Police say he treated her recently for severe stomach pain and charged her nearly $3,500. What services did you provide in exchange for that money?
Services, you'd have to define that.
That's what he's asking you. He's asking you to define the services.
Are you a fraud?
I don't appreciate your tone.
His tone has not changed throughout the whole interview.
I don't know where you're receiving this information from, but it is inaccurate. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to cut this interview short.
But he has said this may not cut his medical career short, saying he hopes to open another clinic in the future. That is, of course, once he's done dealing with his legal woes.
Who is investing into this?
I was a young kid that got overly ambitious.
Wow, overly ambitious. There's kids who are like 10 years old that run up to me, they're like, I want to be a doctor. And I'm like, I think that's very ambitious. He was 18 years old, didn't go to school, and was practicing as a doctor. That's definitely overly ambitious. Incredible medical rescues caught on camera, much better than than these situations. Click here to check that out, and as always, stay happy and healthy.
This is your brain when you're struggling to focus. And this is your brain when you're in the zone. But getting in the zone and staying there, that feels more like luck than something you can control. So that's why we made Brain FM. It's like a do not disturb setting for your mind. And it gets you focused in just 5 minutes using science and sound.
Every day, there are more and more people living past 100. And frequently, we see YouTube videos like this or news articles like that. And I want to be able to fact check this centenarian advice. Let's get started. Pee-whoop.
This is Mike Fremont. He's 101, has multiple world records running marathons, does daily pull-ups, and he's Diamond 2 in League of Legends.
What? My guy is low!
I'm joking. I mean, he's that'd be cool. What do you think his diet is? Paleo? Vegan? Pescatarian? Animal-based?
Is it music? What is the diet?
Answer! His vegan diet is the #1 key to his health. For good reason. He was diagnosed with cancer at 69, was given only 3 months left to live, and stumbled upon the Cancer Prevention Diet by Michio Kushi, which talks about a macrobiotic diet based on Zen Buddhism, which means no animal products. With lots of anecdotal evidence, a lot of cancer survivors who swear by it, and he himself was cancer-free a few months later.
I would be really careful with these types of anecdotal stories because A, when someone says you have 3 months to live, we don't know who made that prognosis. I've seen patients tell me stats about their health. Then when I go to investigate those stats, they turn out to be untrue. It doesn't mean the patient's lying. It's just there's a lot of a game of telephone that happens in the hospital system. Doctor says one thing, radiologist says another, nurse says another, the internet says another. The patient combines all that and then creates their story. Another thing that happens, eating a diet that's very healthy, especially one that's rich in fruits, vegetables, is gonna be the healthiest way for most people to live. To say that this is the only way is a type of inflexible thinking that's ultimately gonna lead you to an unhealthy relationship with food, therefore an unhealthy relationship with your weight, and all these things really live in a really healthy ecosystem. Our healthy weight, a healthy relationship with food, our mental health, our physical well-being, all those things need to be in harmony. And different things are gonna work differently for different people.
It's just that you keep going.
Wow.
It's only a number. 101 is only a number. A spot of whiskey occasionally helps. Although it's not on the national health.
Yeah, that's not something we ultimately recommend. Alcohol has had such a tumultuous history within the healthcare community. We go from one decade saying that it's prolonging life, the next decade that it's harming life. The reality is it's technically a poison, right? But it also helps with our minds. Because if we're being honest, sometimes our minds can be poison. And if you put your attention towards the minor poison that alcohol is, and it takes away the attention from sometimes how bad poisonous our minds are, could be a good trade-off. But the important part is always staying in control and not overusing it, not becoming overly reliant on it.
Elizabeth Sullivan has lived in the same Fort Worth, Texas house since 1942, and she has just celebrated her 104th birthday.
104th birthday. Wow.
Wow.
What's it like to see a century go by and then still live some extra years?
She credits at least some of her longevity to a Lone Star State favorite.
No.
You're drinking Dr. Pepper right now.
That's gotta be the producers doing this. There's no way this old lady goes around telling people this.
That stuff is good. It's got sugar in it, and two doctors have told me that if I drink it, I will die, but they died first.
The mentality is amazing. Okay, so this is the perfect time to introduce survivorship bias.
Okay, so that's proof that it's good for you.
Yeah.
That's actually not proof. Just because something has worked, it doesn't mean that it is proof. That's why we do research, including many people, randomizing people. Does it mean it's gonna prevent you guaranteed from living a long life? No, nothing can really guarantee that.
Everybody tells me it has too much sugar in it, but since I've been drinking
It's time for Energen. So filling, so delicious. Energen, 10 pesos lang.
Every day there are more and more people living past 100. And frequently we see YouTube videos like this or news articles like that. And I want to be able to fact check this centenarian advice. Let's get started. Pee-whoop.
This is Mike Fremont. He's 101, has multiple world records running marathons, does daily pull-ups, and he's Diamond 2 in League of Legends.
What? My guy is low!
I'm joking. I mean, he's that'd be cool. What do you think his diet is? Paleo? Vegan? Pescatarian? Animal-based?
Is it music? What is the diet?
Answer!
His vegan diet is the #1 key to his health. For good reason. He was diagnosed with cancer at 69, was given only 3 months left to live, and stumbled upon the Cancer Prevention Diet by Michio Kushi, which talks about a macrobiotic diet based on Zen Buddhism, which means no animal products. With lots of anecdotal evidence, a lot of cancer survivors who swear by it, and he himself was cancer-free a few months later.
I would be really careful with these types of anecdotal stories because A, when someone says you have 3 months to live, we don't know who made that prognosis. I've seen patients tell me stats about their health. Then when I go to investigate those stats, they turn out to be untrue. It doesn't mean the patient's lying. It's just there's a lot of a game of telephone that happens in the hospital system. Doctor says one thing, radiologist says another, nurse says another, the internet says another. The patient combines all that and then creates their story. Another thing that happens, eating a diet that's very healthy, especially one that's rich in fruits, vegetables, is gonna be the healthiest way for most people to live. To say that this is the only way is a type of inflexible thinking that's ultimately gonna lead you to an unhealthy relationship with food, therefore an unhealthy relationship with your weight, and all these things really live in a really healthy ecosystem. Our healthy weight, a healthy relationship with food, our mental health, our physical well-being, all those things need to be in harmony, and different things are gonna work different.
Has anyone even saw in chat? Like, genuine. Is my mic even working? Has anyone even saw in chat? Wait. Like, genuine. Is my mic even working? Has anyone even saw in chat? Wait.
$1 billion pesos. Yes, that's the total price.
Yo. Yo. Okay, wait, let me explain it real quick. All right, so basically what my idea is I'm gonna put a 1 bit bounty on myself too, and just gonna be like teleporting to random people, and then I mean, yeah, I guess you're just like gonna like save me whenever I'm in a tribe, whenever it gets too close and I say donut pull.
Yes, I got you, bro.
Yeah,
I got you. I think I'm gonna be an amazing pearl puller, by
Okay.
the way. Like amazing, like really fast, like maybe faster than you, because I have really good internet, and I feel
Okay.
like your stream I'll be able to load it really quickly and then right click fast. I feel like I have good reaction time too.
Okay, I bet. All right, I'm gonna put the bounty on
So
myself
don't worry
right
about
now.
dying. The moment you say, so do you want me to pull only right when you say pull?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I will.
Okay.
And then this is your pearl right here, right?
Yeah.
And
1 bit bounty is already on myself. So
you already have $1 billion bounty?
Yep. Should I
Okay,
increase
wait.
it slowly too?
Yes. Yeah, if you're not dying after a little bit, you increase it, yeah.
Wait, should I like...
I'll increase it as well, just to make it even more entertaining.
Okay, bad. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna grab some... Should I go with Turtle Master and stuff, or is it doing too much?
It's low-key DTM. E-gaps, I think, are good, though.
Okay, all good. But, I mean, I'm ready, bro. I'm,
Okay, yeah, go ahead. I'm already have your stream opened.
I bet. Alright, see you. Okay, chat. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just raiding base like normally. While I have a bounty, while Donut is my pearl puller. So we switched the roles, basically. So yeah, let's go. Send me a TP here. Alright, no way the first one is a trap. Yo. Okay, alright.
No. Stream.
Oh my god. What am I doing? Bro, why you already trying to kill me, bro?
For a million.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's
No.
Oh, GG's. Okay, that was Loki kind of close. Loki already died almost. But we're good, bro. We're good. Good. I just gotta get a little bit more warmed up. TP? Bro, true that you promise it's not a trap. Like, I don't really want to TP to like people directly. I feel like it's better if I just like TP here. I don't know. Should I TP to people directly?
Oh my god, pull? Is he saying pull?
Oh, yo.
Wait, did you say pull?
No. Or modding cool TPs, you know? I'll do random for now. I mean, maybe the mods get me anyways. I feel like it just also doesn't really make sense if I have a bounty and I just TP to someone where I know they probably have a trap. That's literally one of my mods. Donut, please, Donut, please. Donut, please, Donut, please. That was so fast.
Hey, was that fast? I wasn't. By the way, I was tapped out. I wasn't even like that fast. I could have done it way faster.
I only got like 2 void takes. What
okay,
the
fine.
heck?
Hey, bro. Hey, when I lock in, I'm telling you, you're good.
Okay.
I got those instantaneous pulls.
Bad, bro, bad. What the heck? That was so fast.
W, bro. Nice.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for the pull.
That was wait, chat. Do y'all think that was good?
See, I told you guys, random is completely fine. My mods can still get me. Oh my god, Donut! Oh my god! Stop just void trapping me! You can't just void trap me! Thank you. Yo. Guys,
got you,
void trap is not gonna work. I have E-gaps. Oh! Yo, hello?
Yo!
Yo, what the heck is your mind?
Oh my god! Oh my god, yo, what's good, bro?
Oh my god! Hello!
Yo.
Wait, yo! Oh my days.
Yo,
oh my god!
What's up?
Oh my god!
We ain't trying to trap you, bro. You can
Screenshot?
Wait.
Sure.
Yo, yes, please, bro, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, yo!
Please screenshot, please.
Oh my
This
days!
guy's so loud.
Oh my
Yo,
god!
could you like fix your mic, bro?
Wait. Oh my god! Wait, there's actually no way.
It's not.
Yo.
I'm assuming.
Yo, wait, yo, why is everyone TPing to me, bro? Yo, what's up, guys? Slash pay me.
Okay, I'm just not gonna talk. Oh my
Yo.
god, the echo. Oh, and I just take your base.
Money, please. Can we have some money, bro?
Yo, Linky mute.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, you just mute, please.
Linky mute.
Oh my god.
Yo,
yeah.
Face, that's some money, please.
Yeah, I got you here. I'll pay both of you.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Here's 45 million. Yeah, I'll give you some.
Thank you, bro.
There's
Yo,
20.
have a good day.
Alright, see you guys.
Oh, 6-7 in the chat. Appreciate yo.
Thank you so much.
What is this guy doing? He's just fishing? Why are you fishing drowned? The heck? Alright. Here, I'll pay you some money if you want. I don't know if you need. He has like 50 mil. Alright, have a great day. Oh, you can talk. Oh, what's up?
What's up, dude?
You're just out here fishing?
Yep.
Cool.
How's your day going?
Good. What about you?
Pretty good.
What? Cool.
How's your day going?
Good. What about you?
Wait. Oh my god.
Wait, chill.
Just get in the void, alright, buddy? Yeah, I'm not gonna die. Like,
Yes, you will, bro.
no, I'm
You're
not. You suck. Like that was your thing, true that. You've been begging me to TP for 20 minutes for that. Even though I have E, guys, which means I can survive in the void for like 2 minutes, literally. Yo, we can't be serious. What the heck is this? Hello?
Oh my gosh!
Yo, what's up? Yo! Hello, is this your base? Oh, is this your base? Oh, what do you have here? You got chickens, stash or something. I don't know. W, bro, you want some money? Yeah, bet. Yeah, I got you, bro. Oh, alright. Oh, yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. W, alright. Here's some loot. Have a great day, man. All good. No problem. I'm just gonna wait 5 seconds. Alright. Teleport here. Wait, what's my bounty at right now? Hold on. Bounty. Barracks. Oh, I have a 1.1 bill bounty. Okay, should I add to it, Chad? Should I add to it? I think I should add to it now, right? I already did a couple of TPs. Yeah, I'll add 400 mil to it. So now I have a 1.5 bill bounty. Yo, hello?
Oh, yo, my mic.
What?
You want to fight me because I'm load of season at TP.
You wanna fight?
You wanna fight load of season?
Nah, we can't fight though.
TPX up load of C. We can beat load of C. Go.
Load of C sucks, by the way. He's not gonna kill me on EU.
Load of trash, bro. Load of trash. Oh, if you lose this, you're actually a bot, though. Like load of trash, bro. Can't even get high temp. Holy trash. Then I'm gonna fight you. Holy load of trash, bro.
GG's. Alright, let's go. Nah, I would. Can you rate my base? No trap, and could I get some money? Please, I'm broke. Sure. Equal. I think. Anyway, am I rate your base like a 6.5? Yeah. W base, bro. Alright. See ya. Oh, what is this?
Oh, I got it.
What is this?
Yo.
Chill.
There's a trap right there.
Yo, what you mean, bro? That's
Yo, I dug out, and there's a trap, bro. Yo.
Yo, fuck you, bro.
Yo, what the heck?
Yo,
This took me like 2 seconds to find. Are you guys stupid?
Yeah, bro.
Alright, nice try. I mean, yeah. Nice try, bro.
Wait, can you follow me first?
Misclick.
Follow you? What do you mean?
Yeah, follow me.
Nah,
don't know.
probably not.
Why, bro?
Nobody.
Alright, well, I'ma probably head out. Yeah. Nice try though. See ya. Yo, what's up? I can't see. Can you move? Yep, thank you. Hi, Ferris. How are you? Can I please have some money and loot? Can you please TP Dr. Donna because it's my dream to get a photo with him, with you guys. Enjoy your day. I don't know if you want to TP. But sure, I'll try and send him a TP here. 1 second. Let me pay you. Very good. And you can have some banners and stuff too. And yeah, I don't think there's no way this is a trap, right? Let's see if he wants to TP. Oh, a screen trap? Yeah. Wait, come here. I don't think he wants to TP, bro. Sorry. But yeah, you have a great day, bro. You have a great day. See ya. Yo, is there a trap right here? Sorry. What's good? Yo, what's up? Is this your base? Stasis chamber. Check bounty? What's my bounty at? Why do I have a 2.5 bill bounty? What the heck? I Makalasui. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. What'd you say here? Nothing. Don't I added 500 mil to your bounty? Oh my god. Okay. Well, I mean, clean base, bro. I'll probably give it like I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. 7.2. 7.2. Yeah. There you go. I dropped you a bunch of loot because I'm too lazy to. Alright, there you go. Have a great May. Have a great May? What? Have a great day.
Barracks, it's me again. And we're not in the void this time.
Bro, I'm on 100 ping, bro. I don't wanna.
Oh, there you are. Oh, hold on. We should go napo.
Oh, bro, nah, I'm not head out, bro. I don't want to fight on 100 ping. I'm sorry.
Alright. Love you, Ferrex.
Alright, see ya.
Wait.
Alright, I'll TP to some mods. But if it's a trap, I'm instantly gonna leave. Like... What?
Pull the railgun! Pull the railgun!
Get me out! Oh my god.
God, where is it? Where's the railgun? Pull the railgun! It's not there!
Oh my god.
Wait, I could. By the way, did you tell me to pull? I could barely even hear.
Yeah.
I had to read your lips because they were so loud.
Bro, they were spamming pull the ray gun. I was in Obsidian, so I was like, I don't. Bro, oh my god. Thank you, bro.
No problem.
That wouldn't even have worked. I just realized that we were fully enclosed and.
Bro, if you ever want to get out of combat instantly, just feel free to tell me to pull whenever, as much as you want. I'm fully available. I'm just putting all my time into this. Also, feel free to try to survive this bounty all night. I'm down to do this for 5 hours. As long as you want to do this, I'm down to do it for 10 hours. Chat loves it. I feel like this is this is fun.
I'll try my best.
It's fun.
But I'll try my best.
Like I'll always be available to pull. Even if I have to go pee or anything, I'll bring my mouse and headphones with me. I already did that, and luckily you didn't have to pull.
You're lying, actually.
I'm being dead serious. Yes, yes.
Right,
and if I need to eat, like if you want to do this for 24 hours, I don't care. I'll order food online with my mouse in my hand. If I have to go pick up food from my front door, I'll bring my headphones and mouse, and I'll be ready to pull 24/7.
Dang, all right. I didn't know you were this dedicated. All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right, bet. Yeah, bet. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you, bro. Okay, and this is another random TP, and then I'll TP to a mod after. Oh, and he just wants some money, probably. Rate the skin from Terraria. Why are you throwing a million map arts?
Long before time had a name.
I don't want to see all these. Cool, but like, I already know all these. Rate the skin from. By the way, this first server is really fun, and take some mad arts. Please use just loot, sure. There you go, bro. There you go. I'll give your skin a 7 out of 10. Yeah. See ya. Have a great day.
Yo, bro, I was just digging down into this pole, bro, and I found a place, bro, a crazy base. What do you think? Can you chill?
It's a trap. We're in the end. We're literally in the end.
It doesn't matter. Just follow me. Come here.
What do you mean doesn't matter?
Follow me. It's fine.
I'll follow from the top.
Come here. Just place obsidian. Place obsidian. It's fine.
No. I'm right here, bro. I'm right here.
Well, can you mine down so we can get through this bit? Yo, you're ruining everything. Right, come here.
I'm not ruining everything. I'm just being careful.
So look. Yo, bro, you see this door, bro? You gotta find the key to get into the vault and get all the loot, bro.
Hold on. Let me check for traps first.
Yo, you're actually a paranoid scumbag, bro.
What the heck?
What, bro? Can you come here, please?
Wait.
Bro, hello? Where are you?
Yo, what is that? Why do I see
what
crafting tables?
Bro? Yo, what are you...
I see... Yo!
Oh my god, there's something wrong with you. Oh god, I hate you, bro. Why are you not fighting me? Are you actually scared of fighting me?
Nah, I was just waiting for the right moment. Easy.
I hate you and Donut, bro. I hate you and Donut.
Yo, it's not my fault that you suck, bro. Like, I'm sorry.
It's your fault that you dig around every time you go anywhere, bro. You're an idiot.
What do you mean? I have a bounty on me. I need to be careful.
4 hours.
Like what?
For this. 4 hours, bro. 4 hours I spent.
Oh
on
my.
this.
Okay, yeah, Donut, can you just pull, bro? Like.
And it's just true say over and over again, telling me, build a trap, build a trap, build a trap.
Yo, Donut, can you? Yeah. Thank you. Yo, Donut, can you just pull, bro?
My weakness. And it's just true say over and over again, telling me, build a trap, build a trap.
Was that a quick pull? How good was that?
It was good. I mean,
was it not that fast?
Nah, it was just normal. Like, what was that? Like 4 seconds.
Okay.
It was good.
4 seconds? Oh no, I needed. Oh my gosh. Yo, Wizox, I don't know if you can distract me during this, bro.
Oh yeah. I won't distract you, bro. Don't worry. What?
Okay,
Yo,
okay,
don't put the blame on me. What? Like.
No. I'm not putting the blame on you. I'm just saying, like, I want to lock in on this pearl pulling thing, and.
All good, bro. It's all yours.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
I will not say a thing.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, sorry about that, Ferrix. I'll try to be faster.
Alright. Thanks, bro. Alright. Yo. What's up? Hello. This is...
Hello?
Stash.
Hello?
Yo, what's up?
Oh my god, I can't believe I got you.
Yeah.
Yo, that's insane.
Yeah.
I've been trying for like an hour. Well, I don't think I'm doing it.
W, bro. Wait, you want some money? You need some money or anything?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Here's 50
your
mil.
whole chats.
And...
50 mil? Can I get a screening?
Yeah. He has a macro. What are you guys talking about?
Yo, that's crazy.
You have a macro?
Alright, wait, can you rate the base? I got like a little gamble station over here, and like my friend's pearls.
Wait, do you have a macro?
Do I have a mapper? What do you mean?
A macro.
No.
Okay. Was it because he was looking down? Because he's looking down, he has a macro. Alright. Anyways,
Chat, I don't.
Yeah,
have
I'll raise your base. Hold on. Yeah, just rate it.
Alright, wait. Yeah.
Alright, so I'll give it
like
a.
Can you sign?
Solid.
Wait, hold up. Can you
6.8.
sign
Yeah.
a block of amethyst for me?
Sure.
There's an anvil right there. Okay, well, yeah, there's anvil
There you
everywhere. Yo, W,
Alright.
bro.
Have a great day,
Thank
bro.
you.
See ya.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, Jettison is asking me to TP. Should I TP to him? Wait, what's my bounty? Bounty. I have 2.5. I have the 9th biggest bounty on the server right now. I mean, Donut. Yeah. Should I risk it just to see if Donut can save me? I mean, I also have to be careful. If I get a ray gun, that's I can't do anything. That's just like I'm a TP. I'm actually also curious what he wants. Let's see. All right, Jettison, I sent you a TP.
Yo, Ferris, you look around. Just look around. Yeah. Do your thing, you know. Do some of that.
Okay.
Thing,
just
you know.
TP me in the open.
Yep.
So why did you TP me?
Okay.
Wait, can you move? I want to see the signs. Please translate this into Chinese.
Okay. You know how when you change your language, like the signs also change, like it translates. Yeah. So I found like a really cool glitch, like the text to go off the sign.
I feel like when I change the language, that's when the trap happens. Hold on. Yeah.
Oh my! It just got censored.
Let me My God, and I'm on 200 ping, bro.
Bro, why is it censored now? Wait, hold on.
Chat, how do I check for trap? Can I look at F3?
Sure. Like F3.
Okay. Alright. Okay. So, wait. Okay, so what do you want me to do?
Wait, hold on. Can you... Okay.
Yeah?
Okay, so... Wait, let me pull the stream so
it will kick you. You will get kicked. What are they talking about?
If it kicks you, just if it kicks you, I'll PayPal you $1,000. I don't know.
Stay on God.
Well, you're gonna like Alt F4, like.
No. I'm not doing that.
No.
I promise.
Sure. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll pay you $10 PayPal if.
Yeah.
Okay, bro. It's not gonna. Okay, bro. It's not. Oh my God. I can't. Bro. It's like...
Okay. How about this? Send way over there, and then I'll do it. So you can't hit me if I get kicked. So I don't combat die.
So you.
What?
Yo, change your language right now. Just like, well, what do you mean? Like this? I just want like the sign, the character.
Okay, what language do you want me to change it to? Chinese?
Yeah, Chinese.
Okay.
And then I got one more.
I don't know what Chinese looks like, bro.
What?
Yeah, it's not showing up. I don't know what Chinese looks like. Like it's just
search up
Chinese language, like signs or letters, or I don't know.
Go to like the very bottom of your menu.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm trying to watch your stream.
Is it this one?
Yeah, it's that one. Switch it.
Donut? Oh my God. Okay. Yo, buddy. That was so bad. What the heck? What is he doing? Donut?
Hey, Chadley man.
Okay, you said donut, but you didn't say pull,
no. Yeah, you got I wanted to pull, but
okay, good.
I'm saying like that was like what was that, Jettison? That was the trashiest try ever. Like I was already out the menu before you even blew up one anchor. Maybe get a better Crystal PvP player next time or something. What was
Why
that?
is your game in Chinese?
Because he wanted me to put it in Chinese.
I
don't know.
Why does it low-key look so tough though? Like,
Yo,
bro, when you hover over the
it
totem,
is clean. Yo, do you remember when I did that for a little bit, Wazux? I put my game in Chinese.
Should I run?
Yeah,
game like this, bro?
but this is Chinese. It's Chinese.
Chinese looks
but
good
yeah,
too, yeah.
Yeah, bro, low key. Like I know some people like just purposely do this, but it actually looks clean.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
it's
can't
clean.
lie.
It's clean. Wait, Ferris, do you need anything? You need XP? You need
no, I got it. Thank you.
I think you should be ready every time with like full regears in your, and just place the shulkers. You can just regear instantly. Like, look, like this should be you doing, by the way. Like you see, like when you pull him, and there should be like shulkers ready like this.
Okay, yeah, good idea.
You feel me?
Okay, yeah, Ferris, we got you with all this loot.
Bad. Appreciate that. All right.
Yep.
And you should also pick up the trash. I don't want to be that guy,
So okay, so if you say donut, does that mean you want me to pull?
Yeah.
Or only when you say pull?
No. In that situation, I wanted it, but usually I'll say donut pull.
Got
if
it.
it's just like if I'm talking about you, like, oh yeah, donut did this, or like it's not a pull,
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right. By the way, again, I'm ready to pull whenever. Just always rely on me.
Okay. Bet I got you.
You can jump in the void if you wanted to, and I'll pull fast
okay.
enough
All right.
for you to survive.
Bet. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, bro. Donut! No! Yes! Like this is so stupid, bro. Are we serious? Bro, why am I even listening to my chat? Donut! No! Yes! Like this Are we serious? So stupid. Bro.
I'm a failure.
Why am I even listening to my chat?
I'm a failure. That's
No, that was not your fault. That was
my
just
bad.
that was just an instant ray gun.
Yeah. But here's the thing. do you want me to pull before when I recognize that it's a trap? Because I could have saved you. Because it just took you a while to recognize that there's a trap and for you to say don't. I could have saved you if I just pulled on my own.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Now, if you recognize it's a trap, you can just pull.
Okay, if it's a railgun, I'll instantly pull.
Yeah. Bro, that's so... Why am I even TPing to mods, bro? Just because they're crying.
Lost me. Yes! I did it. Lost me. Yes! I did it.
God, wait, let me go to my base.
Wait, and they got the bounty?
Yes! Like, how is that fair? That's so
Are
stupid.
you dead?
It's so
I
stupid.
just added $1 billion.
Oh wow.
K.A. is a 49-year-old man presenting to the emergency room with fever, headache, and confusion. His speech was garbled, his vision was blurry. Something was wrong with his brain. An MRI of his head showed that something was abnormal, but it didn't give any clues as to what was happening. The brain and the spinal cord are surrounded by a liquid that cushions and protects it called the cerebrospinal fluid, CSF. Doctors stick a needle into K.A.'s back to draw some of that fluid to send to a laboratory to test so that they can get some more information. When they looked at it, it was yellow and cloudy. It's not supposed to look like that. And when the lab results return, it shows that there's a huge amount of white blood cells in it. These aren't supposed to be in the CSF. And this gives doctors some clues as to what's happening to him. 5 years earlier, K.A. wasn't feeling well. He'd wake up every day and feel bloated. At first, his wife thought it was funny, and she started calling him sausage fingers. He noticed that he was gaining weight disproportionately to how little he was eating every day. And every time he'd use the bathroom, he'd notice a mass of foamy bubbles in the toilet. At a doctor's visit, his wife realized this wasn't funny anymore. K.A. had gained 40 pounds, but almost all of this was water. When the doctor squeezed his leg, it was like squeezing memory foam. This isn't supposed to happen. This kind of fluid overload is seen when someone's organs are failing. A blood test reveals two things. First, K.A.'s kidneys have shut down. They're not filtering his blood anymore. The bubbles in his urine are proteins that are just bypassing the kidneys, and his edema, the fluid buildup, is because his kidneys aren't removing wastes from his body anymore. The second is that K.A.'s immune system is attacking his kidneys. That's why they're shutting down. The blood test finds that his white blood cells have created antibodies that specifically target his kidneys for destruction. If this keeps up, the damage done will be permanent. This is called membranous nephropathy. Nephro referring to kidney, opathy referring to disease, and membranous describing how the kidney looks under a microscope when the immune system is attacking it like this. Medicines can fix this. K.A. was given two. The first is a steroid. This is a general anti-inflammatory. It blunts the immune system, but it's not enough by itself. The second medicine goes into the white blood cells. It tells their genes to stop producing signal chemicals. This makes it so that the immune system can't communicate amongst itself. Both of these together should stop K.A.'s immune system from attacking his kidneys, allowing them to heal and enabling K.A. to live his normal life again. And things seem to be okay. But 3 years later, there was more protein in his urine than ever before. His fluid overload is so severe now that his blood pressure is always high. Now it's severely impacting his heart. His kidney damage was getting worse. His immune system was still destroying his kidneys. 2 more medicines were given. One stops white blood cells from growing, stops them from functioning, and it forces them to destroy themselves. The second medicine gets into the DNA of white blood cells and inserts chemical parts that completely invalidate the entire cell. Doctors aren't shutting down the production of signal chemicals anymore. They're depleting the white blood cells in his body. This is the last resort to save what's left of K.A.'s kidneys. He received a few doses of these medicines over 18 months, and his kidney function held steady. All of this was working, but something was still wrong. Hey, have a quick question. Have you learned a few things in this video so far? If you have, I'd really appreciate it, if you aren't subscribed yet, to subscribe and come back to see the video that I post next month too. I make these videos for fun, and I do them because I genuinely like to. It's always one of the highlights of my day. I've published on average one a month every month since 2017, and I do these to teach how we think in medicine by telling stories of patient cases. I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to make these for you. Appreciate you. 20 months after treatment, which is 4 months before he's presenting to the emergency room, K.A. went on a hiking trip with his wife. In the evenings, after they were done, he'd notice welts all over his arms and legs. They were itchy, sometimes painful. The trip was like this every day, but he was totally fine when he got home. A few weeks later, he started seeing flashing lights. He thought maybe he hadn't gotten enough sleep, but then a horrible pain emerged on the left side of his forehead. At the hospital, doctors did a brain MRI. Nothing was found. Everything was normal. His kidneys were healing, but blood tests suggested that he was dehydrated. They gave him IV water. 2 days pass, and he got better. They sent him on his way, but very clearly, dehydration wasn't his problem. A week later, K.A. was back in the hospital because his speech was nonsensical. He was confused. He didn't know where he was. One kind of stroke is when a blood clot gets lodged into a blood vessel of the brain. This chokes off blood flow and starves that part of the brain of oxygen. There's just minutes before permanent damage settles in. When doctors did imaging of K.A.'s brain, it kind of looked like he was having a stroke, but it wasn't clear. It was borderline, but there was no time to wait. Medicine that immediately breaks blood clots by thinning the blood were given. It seemed to work. K.A. got a little bit better, but he appeared to still have problems. It was hard for him to find the right words to say, and he was still confused. But by that hospital administration's metrics, he was good enough to go home. No more immediately life-threatening problems, so let's schedule you an appointment for follow-up. And he was on his way. As the weeks passed, K.A. started seeing floaters on his left side. He had to lay down in bed with an eye mask because light would make him feel like a hammer was smashing his skull. He had to wear earplugs because all sound would amplify and echo. At the ophthalmology eye doctor's office, K.A. was found to have eye inflammation. The left was worse than the right. The pattern and where the inflammation was inside the eye were very specific. And this was concerning. K.A. had a history of his immune system attacking his kidneys. If his eyes have inflammation, this could mean that it's attacking his eyes now. K.A. was given steroid eye drops. A mixed sedative, Tylenol, and caffeine combination pill were given for his headache. This calms down the brain, reduces inflammation, and constricts blood vessels going to the brain to limit excess blood flow that could cause headache. In over 2 weeks, K.A.'s pain went away. His vision improved. He didn't need to wear the eye mask anymore. But a week later, K.A. suddenly felt weak on the right side of his body, and the right side of his face was drooping. He could only slur his words. At the hospital, again. Clinically, it looked like he was having a stroke again, but brain imaging returned normal, no stroke. 2 days in the hospital pass, K.A. could speak normally again, so he was sent home. Nothing wrong was found. But over the next week, K.A.'s wife noticed that he would have staring spells. These would last just for a minute, but he would stop moving. His eyes would be wide open. He wouldn't blink. He wouldn't respond to anything. And after a minute, he'd snap out of it, and he couldn't remember anything that had happened over the last hour. He started having a fever, and his episodes of slurred words would return every few hours. At the hospital, again. Brain imaging was normal. Blood test results were normal. Nothing looked wrong, but very clearly, something was wrong. K.A. had gone to the same hospital 7 times in the last 4 months. The doctor this time remembered him from a previous visit. When he looked at the medical record, he realized that no one here ever found out why any of these things were happening to K.A. This doctor pulled K.A.'s wife aside and told her, there might be a better hospital, maybe you could say more adequately equipped, to figure out what's wrong. It's just on the other side of the city, and she agreed to the transfer, and he's brought to the emergency room where we are now. In this emergency room at the second hospital, doctors reevaluated K.A. All of his vitals were normal. He didn't look well. Muscles in his face had wasted away, indicating malnutrition. A mental status exam found that he couldn't name the days of the week backwards. He named a month and then said the days forward. When he was asked to remember 3 words, he could only remember 1 after 5 minutes. He said that 9 quarters was $4.25. His vision was blurry and he had trouble moving his eyes, but he knew where he was. He could say the word hospital sometimes. Other times, he'd stare off into the void as if he were trying to speak, but couldn't. Blood tests were normal. Urine and serum toxicology, negative. A brain MRI showed subtle changes, but it's not clear what any of this means. Given this information and K.A.'s past medical history, the overactive immune system attacking his kidneys, and the 4 immune-suppressing medicines that he was given, there's a few things that doctors want to do immediately. A lumbar puncture found lymphocytic pleocytosis. Pleo from Greek referring to a very large quantity, cyto meaning cell and osis meaning a disorder, and lymphocyte being a particular type of white blood cell. A large quantity of white blood cells causing a disorder. This means that his immune system is trying to respond to something. Regardless of the fact that it was nuked by those 4 medicines, it looks like it's still responding potentially to an infection of his. His CSF was yellow and cloudy. It's not supposed to look like that. The problem is, there's no telltale signs of which infection this is. It could be a virus, it could be bacteria, it could be both, it could be something different. Doctors come up with an early plan. Give KA an antiviral medicine. Give him 3 antibiotics and B vitamins just in case of neurodegeneration from that malnutrition. And then watch him in the hospital. Do this now because the infection can and will get worse in the coming days. In the meantime, they draw blood and order many different tests. Some of these tests will take days to return. An ophthalmologist examines his eyes. They saw that fluid was swelling into his optic nerves, connecting his brain to his eyes. The next day, doctors noticed that KA's speech was slurred. None of his words made any sense. He would scream and cover his eyes until the lights were turned off and the window blinds were closed because he was so sensitive to light. On the second night at the hospital, KA was finally able to get a good night's sleep. And this is where the medical team was totally thrown off. The next day, hospital day 3, KA opened his eyes. He stood up, he stretched, and then he started walking around like nothing was wrong, like nothing had happened. He was calm and collected. Doctors asked him questions. He responded in full clarity, no problems. He could remember the 3 words after 5 minutes. He could name the days of the week backwards. 9 quarters is $2.25. And when they asked him what was going on through his mind the last few days, he said that he knew he was in the hospital because he wasn't feeling well, but he couldn't remember that doctors had asked him to do any of those things that he just did. One thing that he wanted doctors to know was that his vision started getting weird after he spent a lot of time outdoors, hiking with his wife, hunting with his colleagues. Every time he'd come back from these, he'd notice welts all over his arms and legs. He thought these may have been bug bites, but he wasn't sure. He had asked the other hospital about this, but they never found anything definitively. But what is definitive is that KA appeared healthy suddenly, but his vision was still blurry. A repeat eye exam the following day found that only his left optic nerve was swollen and that the inside of his eyes looked markedly different, a big improvement from 2 days prior. And around this time, the blood tests and CSF lab tests had returned, and this screwed everything up. When he presented to the emergency room, he had meningoencephalitis. Meningo referring to the meninges, the membrane protecting the brain and the spinal cord, and cephal referring to the brain. Both his brain and the membranes surrounding it were inflamed. And words matter. Meningitis, the inflammation of the meninges, usually presents with headache, stiff neck, fever, but brain function is totally normal. KA's brain wasn't normal at presentation. Meningoencephalitis is meningitis with a brain that can't function, can't talk, can't think, can't respond appropriately, and visual changes with swollen nerves means that the brain and nervous tissue are inflamed, and this is what he had at presentation. And his condition rapidly improved once he came to this hospital and was started on antiviral medicine, 3 antibiotics, and B vitamins. Doctors had written a problem list to match his symptoms, and they need to rule each one out in order to find out what's happening. The blood and CSF test results give them some direction. First, KA had an autoimmune problem, and this means 2 things. The first is that his immune system could be attacking more than just his kidneys. It could be attacking the blood vessels in his brain. That can cause problems that look like a stroke, which he had at the hospital a few weeks earlier. A blood test can find this, but that test was negative. So whatever it was that caused that stroke was something else. So this wasn't his problem. The second issue from autoimmunity stems from the latter 2 medicines that he was given for membranous nephropathy. When these shut down the immune system, it puts him at risk for rare infections. So if KA got better after being given 1 antiviral, 3 antibiotics, and B vitamins, and if he was predisposed to infection because of a prior illness, then this means that his meningoencephalitis is because of infection. But which infection? These medicines have side effects. You can't keep him indefinitely on all 5. And if you stop the right medicine too early, then you'll grow a medicine-resistant strain of the pathogen without knowing what caused this problem in the first place. But here's a big problem. When doctors tried to grow bacteria from his blood and CSF, nothing appeared. This could mean that his problem isn't bacteria, but it could also mean that it's a secret bacteria that can't be grown in a petri dish. Meningoencephalitis pathogens are only found at best 30 to 60% of the time. There's an actual chance that they're not going to be able to find what's wrong, but doctors still need to reason out what KA doesn't have. Bug bites give the clue. Viruses. West Nile, from mosquitoes. KA's in the northeastern United States, lots of mosquitoes there. This can cause us problems, but antibodies in the CSF and viral RNA in the blood were negative, so he doesn't have this. All other mosquito-borne and tick-borne viruses local to the Northeast were tested for. They can cause similar neuroinvasive viral encephalitis, but all of these were negative. Shingles and herpes viruses can cause similar-looking illness involving eye and brain, but his brain MRI didn't have characteristic features of any of these. Blood and CSF tests for these sometimes aren't accurate. The inflammation in his eyes don't look like the patterns usually associated with these illnesses, and it's unlikely that the particular antiviral medicine that he got would have had an improvement this profound in such a short amount of time. While a viral illness is not completely off the table, doctors look at all the possible bacterial species that could be the problem. Hospital labs can't grow every bacteria from blood and CSF samples. Some that cause problems aren't easy to grow. When they did try, they weren't able to grow any species from his samples. Reasoning out which bacteria it wouldn't be, mycobacteria, which can cause tuberculosis, can cause optic nerve edema and uveitis, but they also cause movement disorders and issues moving the eyes. And the antibiotics that were given to him don't really destroy this kind of bacteria. There's a spiral-shaped bacteria called a spirochete. One species is well known that causes syphilis, named Treponema pallidum. Syphilis causes uveitis, and late-stage disease can cause neurologic signs and symptoms. But this is easily tested for, and it was done, and it was negative. Finally, the last test. Borrelia burgdorferi, the spirochete that causes Lyme disease. This is a disease that comes from bacteria transmitted by ticks. KA is in the region of the country where Lyme, Connecticut is, where the name of the disease is from. KA's problem started after he went on hiking trips with his wife and hunting trips with his colleagues, all activities outdoors in places where there's ticks. This was KA's most likely problem. It causes uveitis and optic neuropathy. Lyme disease can cause lymphocytic pleocytosis. It can cause facial nerve problems looking like a stroke. It can inflame the meninges, all signs and symptoms that he had been suffering from over the last several months. One of the antibiotics that he was given acts directly on Borrelia, and this explains how he suddenly became better after he got it. But when they tested him for Lyme disease, they didn't find any antibodies to Borrelia burgdorferi. He also didn't report the kind of rash that you often, but not always, see with Lyme disease. But maybe that's okay. One of the immunosuppressants that he received for his membranous nephropathy can delay the body's antibody formation against Borrelia burgdorferi. The problem is, when they did imaging of his head and his spine, none of the pictures look like what you would get when one has Lyme disease. And over the days, they kept repeating the blood test, only for it to keep coming out negative for Lyme disease, meaning that their entire problem list was totally crossed out, and this advanced hospital couldn't figure out what was wrong. What could this be? If this isn't Lyme disease, but it has similar features, but just slightly different, then is it possible that it's another species of Borrelia? Special research laboratory testing was ordered. Specific gene sequences of particular known bacteria were done on KA's blood and CSF. These are bacteria that have only been described in a handful of human cases. No standard clinical lab tests exist. In truth, only a high-powered academic institution with labs willing to look deeper would be able to do this. But when the results returned, they found out what it was. One angle of being healthy is eating well, appropriate portion size, and fresh, nutritious food. And Cook Unity is a great option for getting started on the right track for food choices. They're the sponsor of this video. They don't have anything to do with me saying anything about any infectious disease. Cook Unity is a chef collective that gets you restaurant quality meals by award-winning chefs delivered fresh to your door. Every week, I choose a couple of meals. The system knows what I've really enjoyed and can make informed decisions for me. And delivered to my door is a whole week's worth of lunch for me, and this helps me stay on track with what I eat. These meals are amazing, and there's a huge variety. Let me show you some of my favorites. Roasted chicken with Peruvian sauce by Chef Nelson Brizuela. The chicken is juicy, and the sauce with the rice is amazing. The flavors are incredibly unique. It's nutritionally very good, too. And take, for example, this Mexican Philly cheesesteak bowl with smoky Baja sauce, also by Chef Nelson. It's such a rich, cheesy flavor brought together by rice and juicy steak. Cook Unity is offering everyone watching this video 50% off their first order. Click the link in the description below and use my code CHUBBY50 to try it out. Link in the description with code CHUBBY50. I highly recommend it. In 1995, Japan, a group of researchers were investigating the tick Ixodes persulcatus. this is one that carries Borrelia burgdorferi. You can get bit by this one, and you can get Lyme disease. Spirochetes have a body part that helps them twist through their environment called an endoflagellum. When the scientists look further at a sample of Ixodes ticks, they found that there were these remnants of endoflagella that were distinctly different than what's found in Borrelia burgdorferi. This is like finding the bone of an animal in a human burial site. When they looked at genetic samples, they found distinct parts of genes that were not related to any known Borrelia species at that time. However, other parts of the genes show that whatever it was that had these endoflagella remnants was related to Borrelia. The study demonstrated that there exists a previously unknown Borrelia species inside the Ixodes persulcatus tick, but not much more was heard about this until 2009. Eastern Russia, a place well known to have tick-borne disease. 46 patients had come in to a regional hospital with fever, headache, chills, fatigue, vomiting, and muscle aches after known tick exposure. By this time, doctors and scientists in the area were well aware that local Ixodes ticks harbored many different bacterial species. When the Russian Central Research Institute of Epidemiology conducted the study in conjunction with another tick-familiar academic hospital in the northeastern United States, they formally reported the first human cases of this particular bacteria that was discovered in Japan 14 years earlier. Its name is Borrelia miyamotoi. Borrelia miyamotoi illness was first reported in humans in 2009. The bacteria was first described in 1995. Just because we named it and documented human cases doesn't mean that it didn't exist before then. It's just that we hadn't found it yet, and we didn't have the awareness, the techniques, and the technology to describe it and define it. And just a couple of years later, in 2012, the first described Borrelia miyamotoi case in the United States was published, happening in the Northeast, just a few states away from KA. And interestingly enough, this patient had so many striking similarities with KA. They had taken the same immunosuppressant medicine, suffered the same subacute meningoencephalitis, and had a lymphocytic pleocytosis in the CSF that both suddenly improved when antibiotics were given. And the blood test revealed that KA had had this infection for several months. And now that doctors found the exact causative agent, they have an idea of which antibiotics were doing the work, and they know how to proceed with KA's treatment. The reason this case is important is because disease-carrying ticks have have been migrating both inside the US and across continents. Incidence and prevalence of Lyme disease is increasing. And if we know that these ticks have many different kinds of bacteria inside, then it really is important for you to that may not be detectable when you see your doctor because it's not something that's easy to test for, which could then go untreated, just like in KA's case. Then protecting yourself and preventing this becomes the most important thing that you can do. I'm not here to scare you about this. You can still do something about this for yourself. KA's case brings up a couple different issues that people today are likely very familiar with. The first is that this was not an easy diagnosis. The hospital that happened to figure out Borrelia miyamotoi happened to be one of the top research hospitals in the entire world. That's linked to one of the top medical schools in the entire world, meaning they had access to the most advanced